recently played 2 X-Men movie game tie-ins, and a lot of you in that video were telling me that the X-Men Origins Wolverine is not only the best X-Men movie game, but might be the best movie tie-in game of all time. I recently watched that movie again, and the bar is not high in comparison, so let's take a look at X-Men Origins Wolverine. It released in 2009 for most consoles. The version I played was the PS3 version and the Xbox 360, which were developed by Raven Software. Feel free to let me know the differences between these two and the PS2 ones and the Wii version, because there were a ton of different versions released. It was even released for handhelds and mobile phones too. But the versions I played might be the best ones. Releasing alongside the film X-Men Origins simply takes the movie and makes it better. It's like both the game devs and the people behind the movie both had the same overall story beats, but each one did it their own way. And I can honestly say the game did it better. Usually you want to judge movie tie-ins with how closely they are to the movie. In this case, because the movie sucks, you want it to be as far away from the movie as possible. Although, if I'm honest about the movie, I really think it's okay 2/3 of the way in. It was just that the final act is such garbaggio. So the game starts off super violent, and honestly, it's just really cool. We go back in time to the Africa mission like in the movie, aka the last Team X mission, where they're trying to find info on where to find more adamantiums. We'll be going back and forth from that mission to the present time throughout the whole game. In the present, Team X is now disbanded, and Creed, aka Sabretooth, I think killed Logan's girl. So now Logan is determined to find Creed. Colonel Stryker finds him and offers him the chance to enhance his ability using metal they found on their mission. So we do that, and for a good portion of the game, it's just us trying to escape the facility and being chased by Stryker because Logan heard he want him dead.
The operation was a success, but he can't be trusted. We have his DNA for Weapon 11. Terminate him.
After escaping from Stryker, you set out to find Wraith, aka will.iam, or at least I think that's who this is supposed to be. And that leads us to Duke, who leads us to Gambit, who leads us to the island, that leads us to Creed, and finally to for the ending of the game. I don't want to call that thing that. That thing doesn't deserve that name. In essence, everything that happens in the movie happens here too. Kinda, unfortunately. There's a ton of flashbacks to Africa, but there are less twists and turns here, which is a good thing, I believe, because the twists and turns in the movie aren't that great. So because of that, the levels feel a bit dragged out. Like, it really takes a long time to leave that facility, and characters are just added, like this random little girl. There are also cameos I wasn't expecting in the game that don't really appear in the movie, and even suggest lore that took me a second to even understand. Offers a little bit of fun fanfare. There's a bunch of lines from the movie that I also recognize, just the setting of the line is a bit different. Jackman, Schreiber, and will.i.am reprised their role, and their efforts are appreciated by me. They did a good job. The Jackman model is a tank. He's just so beefy. He does kind of look like Hugh, and he's just a straight savage. The cutscenes carry this savagery, gory, bloody violence that bleeds over to the gameplay so well, but they just represented Logan better than anything outside of the actual comic. I almost felt like a villain. They made him terrifying almost to me. He felt like a Terminator, like a bad one, because there's a lot of body horror elements that they played with in the cutscenes, and he's just relentless with chunks of body parts missing, and his healing factor, they really took advantage of that. And it fits because of the Wolverine character. Yeah, maybe sometimes it doesn't make sense. How is he growing back bones? But it's still cool, so it gets a pass. I think X-Men Origins Wolverine might have the best depiction of Wolverine of the character in gaming so far. But of course, let me know what you think down in the comments about that, about anything else that comes to mind on this video, how much you love the game and hate the movie, or if you even want to defend the movie, that's okay too, as long as you subscribe to the channel. So as much as Logan is a badass, I really couldn't explain how his little tank top heals, but hey, whatever. I'm also a simple man. I think that this logo animation at the beginning was brilliant as well, just filling up with the adamantiums. So story-wise, it does fall apart in the third act, but so did the movie. Those were the horrible story beats they had to hit, but they did the best they could with the material. And honestly, that's really the worst thing I can say about the game. Even with all the hype I had personally going in, it did not disappoint me in the game just kept getting better and better, and it was surprising me. It's very much a hack and slash action adventure game from that era, but it's a very good one. It has God of War, maybe some Devil May Cry elements to it, but I wouldn't call it a straight clone, because I feel clones just straight up copy and don't bring anything new to the table. And it did feel like Origins brought a couple things to the table, plus it mixed in its own gory style. So you have your light and heavy attacks. You can charge an attack for an uppercut that sends them in the air for more variations. There's also some finishing combos that helps you waste enemies a little bit faster. You can grab and throw fools at spikes or just stuff that is laid around the level for environmental kills. I like that you can get thrown into that as well. That's very cool for some fairness. You can dodge, double jump, and block, and also by performing time blocks you can do counters. You can return rockets that are shoot at you with this. And there are moments where they force you to blend all these moments together. Yeah, the basic combat could be repetitive, but there's just so much more you can do that the rest of the game keeps it fresh. His health regenerates, of course, and you don't have to do anything crazy. You can retract the claws just for fun. These red orbs fill up your rage meter, which allow you to hold down the trigger and perform special moves. I did feel that they lacked in creativity in the way you learn the moves. I mean, it's just a bit lame. You just do. The game is just like, well, I guess it's time for you to learn how to spin around with the claws. And even though you level up and you earn skill points, you only upgrade the moves that you already have. You don't buy anymore. So that was a little goofy because it actually doesn't affect nothing by having the move sooner or later. So just let me buy them at my own pace. That would have made more sense. And the upgrades are pretty standards. Make it last longer,
Giggity.
deal more damage, stuff like that. The Fury moves are Berserk, where you get pissed off and so he moves a bit faster and he's a bit stronger. Claw Spin, where he spins with his claws. Claw Drill, where he dives towards dude. This was a good one. This one did a lot of damage and I liked it. I think I did this one the most, especially against big dudes. And Claw Cyclones, which is like the spin, but different, but the same. He also has Pharaoh Vision, aka Eagle Vision or Detective Mode, like every game of this era had. That helps you point out crates and other destructibles, work logs to collect, things you can use to kill fools on, dog tags that give you extra experience. There's also these mutagens you equip to add a boost to Logan to help him get more XP, recover HP faster, deal more damage, stuff like that. You can equip up to 3 towards the end, so that's a good thing to try and find these things laid around the levels. You also can collect Wolverine action figures. Each one gives you a battle challenge in the main menu versus the Wolverine that you found. So once you beat him, you unlock that outfit, which I like. It's like you have to earn the outfit. They very much could have just given you the outfit after finding the statue, but they added a little bit more. But I think that by far the best thing the game brought to the table, in my opinion, was the lunge. I mean, if we're going based off the movie, how can you not? He does it like 5 times. The lunge was a really cool mechanic that obviously fits the character. So you hold down the trigger to aim at an enemy and press the other to lunge at him. This was fun to do. I did it a lot, and it's a faster way to travel too. They also used it very cleverly throughout the game to help you reach higher ground in some points or beat a door that's closing down. It works great. It does have a range to it, and you can link attacks to it or roll into a throw and chuck these fools. Or what I just like to do a lot would just stand over them and just claw the shit out of them. They really did a fantastic job of making you feel as though you are playing as Wolverine. I can't say it enough. It might be the best version of him in any video game so far. The game really emphasizes cool shit. Like, really. Really. Cool shit. The shit is so cool it made me want to have quick time events. There is some button mashings in some battles and to open doors and stuff like that, similar to like a God of War. Especially in the last battle, there's a lot of button mashing. I think that it was a little bit overdone there. Because of everything he's doing in the cutscenes, it looks so fun by having some sort of quick time events. It makes it feel more interactive. Because they do a lot of crazy 80s and 90s action movie stuff. There are awesome set pieces that you do play, like the chases. There's one in the snow that's a bit goofy because it's not necessarily on rails, so it makes it feel a bit clunky. You have to go at a pace, if not, you're dead. But after I make this note, all the other chases were on rails kinda, so it felt like the game was improving as it was going along as well. But like I said, the game just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. The cutscene action is better than most of his movies. I'm serious, it's just wild. They do try to do some stealth, but I just kept failing at it. I kept getting caught. And when you do, they throw a bunch of dudes at you, which is actually more fun in my opinion. But the stealth is there as an option if you can complete it. There are kind of simple puzzle thingies like move the statue over here to open door type stuff. And even later on, you'll be doing some teleporting for some puzzle stuff. Again, I was just so surprised by how much stuff there is in the game to do. You just don't expect all this stuff from a tie-in game because he's not teleporting in the movie. And again, it just keeps adding more things to do. There's some platforming, to use the double jump, and he can also climb vines. And with his claws, there's some areas he can go up on. And there's even a sniper level that I thought was really cool. Kind of Metal Gear Solid vibes, but not really, but kind of. There isn't a crazy amount of different environments though. You're either in Africa or in the snow or inside labs. But what they do within those levels is fantastic. I didn't think I would shoot a machine gun in the back of a boat, but I did, and it actually worked surprisingly well. There's more enemy types than I also expected, from militia guys with guns, to robots, to giant monsters, to guys who look like the Shadow Man who get turned into beasts. Yeah, the creatures don't exactly say X-Men to me, but they made it work somehow. These mid-boss fights are pretty fun, but can be a bit long if you don't manage to do the right thing to deal more damage. Some of them you have to dodge around and hit them until they find an opening for you to lunge. Others need some proper countering. You just have to find your spot to attack. And if you don't do that, sometimes they can be a bit of sponges. Even some of the regular enemies as well. They take a few more hits than you expect they would need to, but this didn't add to difficulty, it just made the game feel a little bit longer. Even if I had a full stage of dudes, I knew I was okay, I wasn't tripping. On top of that, you have some boss fights, yes, some more creative than others like Blob and Gambit compared to the big bad Creed, but they're all really, really fun. They even add more to the lore than the movie did for sure. It just feels more impactful and honestly less disrespectful than the movie. Yeah, that whole thing is in here. I think that idea was a really disrespectful one, not only to the character, but to the fans, to cinema as a whole. I felt like even the devs of the game knew it by adding this line.
I guess you're not the merc with a mouth anymore.
It's like, come on, man. He's the... Okay, whatever. I'm not here to trash that. But the game definitely gets points because it lets you stab, slash, and kill the worst decision ever made in a comic book movie ever.
This is Sparta!
I feel like even the ending did a better job than the movie because it goes past the movie. It gives you insight to the future and making things interesting. It just sparks some sort of interest. They really just went above and beyond for this game, even with little things like giving you quotes of the series and facts during the loading time, and even giving you Easter eggs from completely different properties like Lost, Warcraft, and Portal. It looks great for the time. It looks great now, I feel like, and it's even funny sometimes. Raven Software fully took advantage of the video game format and thought, how can we translate this character beyond the source material of the movie, and doing a better job than they did there, but fully taking advantage of the video game format. What could we do to make things fun while still making him feel like Wolverine? It just really does feel like they knew and understood that character and his true nature in the shows. I mean, my dude is a savage, which is the whole theme of the movie. He's also huge. Look at him. No mames. So if you have not seen the movie, maybe don't, but surely give this game a try. It's super fun, crazy, and violent, and if you're into that, there's no way you should skip on X-Men Origins Wolverine. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you.
Should have had him crash closer to town.